We got multiple cameras.
Okay. Turn off your mic, please.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for joining us for American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by our friend, Ethan Euchre.
I am here, and I am your friend. Indeed.
And our other friend, Jeff Wagstaff.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And across from me is world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute.
I'm not your friend.
Whoa.
Oh.
He's
I'm friendly, though.
He's our family. He's our family.
He's family,
yes. See,
Indeed.
you know, if you're suffering with back pain, there's a big difference between just plain old minimally invasive and the Bonati spine procedures. And that difference has to do with the family-like care you receive at the Bonati Spine Institute. The fact that we have patented exclusive methods that help get to the root cause of the pain and not just treat a symptom. You have conscious IV sedation, so you're awake, aware, and somewhat alert and interactive during that surgery. So you can help guide the doctor to that root cause of the pain and help it become eradicated. They're targeted procedures with pinpoint accuracy. We hit the 50,000 mark on these procedures.
Yes, we
Yay,
did.
so that's a huge benchmark. And they reflect 98.75% patient-reported success. So that speaks volumes. With that said, we have an exciting show. We have Kimma Cargill. She'll be on later to talk about the psychology of overeating, which is a big epidemic here in the United States, a very important topic there. And as well, we're going to speak with Megan Barth about the GOP debate. So
And again,
another lively
She
discussion.
was out in Vegas for this, too, so she'll have good insight.
That should be fun. But up first...
In today's Back to Life segment, we will talk to a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute who went from living a life that was restricted by pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
It is my pleasure to introduce from the Netherlands, Bonati Spine Institute patient Teenie Appelman. Thank you for joining us.
Teenie, how you doing?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm here.
Good, good.
Yeah, the fact that you're halfway around the world, I think we kind of got to keep that in mind, too. There might be some spaces there. Teenie's story is incredible, though, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You were actually interviewed by Fox 13 many years ago. So why don't you explain what type of shape you were in and what brought you to the Bonati Spine Institute?
Yes, I saw a TV program from Dr. Bonati in the Netherlands.
Okay.
And I think this also is a Dutch woman. He come to Holland for a seminar, and there was a TV program about him.
Okay.
And I saw that on TV, and I think maybe he can help me because I have a long time back and neck problems. And I undergo in the Netherlands also many surgeries. And they saw my MRI and they said, we can nothing more to do for you. But I have a lot of radiation in my left leg.
Okay.
And later I am paralyzed.
Oh.
And my family doctor saw also this program, and he contacted the Bonati Institute. And then Dr. Bonati came to Holland, and I go with my family doctor to Dr. Bonati that he can see my MRIs and myself.
In person, you saw Dr. Bonati. He made the trip out to the Netherlands and spoke to you personally.
Yes. He came for more Dutch patients and also for a seminar. And I visit him with my family doctor.
Well, Teenie, let's back up for a minute.
Yeah.
What kind of shape were you in? You said that you were paralyzed. You saw some people around, some physicians and specialists over there in the Netherlands. Where was your pain in your body, and how was it affecting your movement, your mobility, and your daily life?
Yeah, I could not walk. I could not use my left hand, also paralyzed. And I have a lot of back pain. The whole day I lay down on my bed.
Wow. So she was almost a quadriplegic. She couldn't move her legs, so she couldn't move her left arm.
No quality of life.
Absolutely not.
A few years ago when we were first putting together the concept of this radio show and the TV show, meeting with Kimberly and Amir, who's been on the show previously, they showed me the video. The local Fox affiliate here in Tampa had interviewed Teenie. And we remember, Teenie, when you got off the airplane, you were on a stretcher and a wheelchair.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Yes, I lay down in the airplane. We must bought 7 tickets for lay down and on a stretcher. And they bring me to Hudson, to I think Orlando the first time.
Okay.
And later I go with a special car to the institute.
Tell us what it was like when you got to the institute and how the process began.
I'm not good in understand.
Oh, how was the process from the time you got brought in on the stretcher at the institute? Walk us through that process.
Yes, I was later in a wheelchair.
Okay.
And Dr. Bonati saw the new MRIs.
Okay.
And he said, I can help you, but first we go for pain relief only.
Sure.
And that was for me very nice, because I think if I less pain is better for me than a lot of pain.
Okay.
And he did one surgery in my first in my neck.
In your neck.
Because my arm was later paralyzed than my leg.
Right.
And first he started with my arms, and after one surgery I could move my thumb. And later I need a few surgeries in my neck more, and with training and exercise I can use my left arm. And we are very, very happy because I stayed there a few weeks, I think 6 weeks.
Okay.
And I fly back to Holland.
Uh-huh.
And I must come back a few months later. And he said also, I will try to do more surgeries in your back.
Okay.
And also we did, but also we must buy a lot of tickets. And my children stay at home. My husband was at home. Dus there I found somebody volunteer for help me in Hudson to drive me to clinic.
Okay.
And they care of me, they cooking for me. We rent a house, we rent a car. And after the many surgeries, I can little bit feel better. But he said to me, Tini, I need you 1 year more. I think, 1 year more? And we organize at home also that everything go on. And they make for me a foundation from my husband's school. Okay. And then we have the money to come back for 1 year.
Wow.
After this year, I was much better, but not be able to move, to walk.
Okay.
And I stayed 1 year more. I stayed there 2 years.
Okay.
And after 2 years, I was be able to walk a little bit in the clinic. Mm-hmm. And difficult for me, but every day I must do exercise together with Dr. Bonati in the lunch. Everybody saw me that I tried to walk with tears because it was difficult and pain. But now, it's many, many years later, and you see my video now.
Yes.
I walk my street.
We see your video. We're actually playing the clips that you posted onto YouTube.
Yes.
I start to tear up.
In the Dropbox.
Yes,
I can do that, and today we try, and I think it is. You can see them. The quality is better in Dropbox than in YouTube from the video.
But Tini, I start to tear up because I've seen the video that was played here in Tampa Bay, and it shows you standing and trying to move, and it shows Dr. Bonati so many feet away from you, motioning, walk towards me,
encouraging her,
and
to come.
You do it, and it was such an arduous process, but so important to you.
Yes,
and you were taking steps when you were pretty much paralyzed, because I'm not sure if we touched upon this or not, but you had pedicle screws that were put in the vertebrae in your neck. And so you weren't really able to have much quality of life. And those are the things that he had to remove and rectify when you came to the Bonati Spine Institute with his patented procedures and the tools that he invented. They got you back on your feet with your hard work walking around.
Yes, I walk in my garden. I can do a little bit shopping, and I am be able now to care of my husband. But now my husband have a very big problem.
Yes.
Also, he needs a wheelchair.
Yeah.
If I not help Dr. Bonati not help me, I was not be able to care of my husband now. But now I can do that.
Hey, Tini, tell me what's going on with your husband. What is he in the wheelchair?
My husband?
Yeah.
Yes, he has a torn aorta, and he needs a very big surgery. And after the surgery, he was paralyzed.
He had a back surgery?
No, heart surgery.
Oh, heart surgery.
Aorta. You understand aorta?
Yeah. Oh, the aorta. Okay. Oh, okay.
Aorta rupture, a rupture aorta.
Yeah.
In his a torn in his aorta.
Rupture.
Oh, that's how he got paralyzed. Okay, it was a vascular problem,
After the surgery, because they must do a plastic tube in his body.
Yeah.
And a long time he needs a machine for his lung and his heart. Yeah. And in his back there come not good air, and that make him paralyzed from his chest till his toes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Tini.
Yes, he can only use his arms and for all the things. But in the morning time, I have nurse to help him because I am not be able to do that. My back is better, but if I do too much, then I feel a little bit pain. I must a little bit care of my back.
Yeah. But your initial surgery was at least a decade ago. I think you had actually first come in to the Institute, I believe, in the 90s.
I'm sorry?
From what I understand,
back in the 90s.
Back in the 90s is when you first came to the Institute, if I'm not mistaken.
The line is not so good.
Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, it was decades ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
and we just saw she's walking around in her garden.
Yes.
She's trimming her Christmas tree. She seems to be.
Yes.
And she's taking care of her husband.
That's right.
That's in a wheelchair.
Also, and I can go out with my grandchild. Also, I'm grandmother now, and I feel very, very happy. Before it was a very difficult time in America.
Yeah.
But now we are very happy that we are going. And also my kids have her mom back.
Oh.
That is so great.
And my
to hear.
husband also. We are very, very grateful to Dr. Bonati.
Oh. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us, Tini Appelman from the Netherlands. Thank you so much. Continued good health. And I love the post on Facebook. So make sure you keep in touch with us.
Thanks, Tini.
And Merry
Okay,
Christmas.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.
What a nice lady.
Such a touching story.
She's amazing. And this is a testament to what the Bonati spine procedures can do. So if you or someone you know is suffering with neck, back, sciatic pain, anything remotely like what Tini Appelman had, reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute, 855-267-0483. He got her from being nearly paralyzed to walking. Took a little bit of time, but she is walking proof that his procedures work. Stay tuned.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Bermel.
Thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Bermel, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
Now, we're excited because joining us is Dr. Anthony Yoon, one of the nation's leading plastic surgeons, who is also a frequent guest expert on The Doctors, The Rachel Ray Show, and The Dr. Oz Show. Now, he's on to discuss his new book, The Age Fix, which reveals how you can actually look 10 years younger. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Yoon.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Now, Dr. Yoon, you are one of these rare plastic surgeons who actually does everything in his power to keep his patients from getting things done.
That's amazing.
Whereas, let's face it, a lot of plastic surgeons are like, you know what you need?
Yes.
So explain that tactic and why it works.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in private practice for 12 years now, and it's one thing that I have figured out, and really everybody knows, is that surgery is dangerous, and there can be complications from surgery. So, you know, I try to look at myself as a physician first. As a physician first, I need to do what's right for the patient. And I believe that virtually everybody can take off 5 to 10 years just by making simple changes to what they eat and what they put on their skin. And that's kind of the idea behind my book, The Age Fix, is how anybody can look 10 years younger without going under the knife.
Okay, I have to ask, you mentioned there's certain foods you can eat that help you reduce wrinkles and look better. Can you name just a few?
Yeah, so probably short of water, secondary to water, the number one drink, I think, that is the most anti-aging of all is green tea.
It is.
And we've heard about green tea before, but what people don't know is that the antioxidants in green tea have been scientifically proven to be 100 times more effective at neutralizing free radicals than vitamin C.
Yes.
So green tea, great drink. We do recommend up to really upwards of 4 cups of green tea in the morning. And if you can switch from coffee to green tea, you're going to be doing yourself a major service.
Here's my problem, Dr. Yoon, and we actually have covered the topic of green tea and antioxidants at length.
Yeah.
And my problem is, I'm a caffeine head. I mean, I'll drink 3, 4, 5 cups of coffee, and the caffeine difference between green tea is very minimal in green tea versus coffee that's just chock full. So I don't know if I could actually substitute the two.
So this is what I would recommend for those people like yourself who drink a lot of coffee, is even if you substitute 1 or 2 cups of coffee for the green tea, you're still going to get a much more powerful anti-aging kind of that antioxidant boost. You'll still get some caffeine, obviously not quite as much as in the coffee, but it can really be worth it. And the negative thing about coffee, now coffee is actually good for you because that has antioxidants in it too, but the bad thing is all the stuff we put in it, the cream, the sugar, and all these additives. So try to decrease the amount of those additives you add. Maybe put a little cinnamon on it. Cinnamon is also full of antioxidants. And just even switching 1 or 2 of those cups to green tea will do you well.
Excellent. And then I was also reading in your book, The Age Fix, that you have a fruit that you recommend that I guess can help you look younger and actually prevent sun damage, which is big down here in Florida where we're based out of. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so there are actually studies that show that citrus fruits, like oranges, the antioxidants in those, the vitamin C, can actually help protect your skin from sun damage. Now, it's not an excuse not to wear sunblock, but definitely it can really help not only to protect your skin from those free radicals, the ones that are caused by pollution in the air and automobile exhaust and even the processed foods that we eat, but it can also help you from the damaging rays of the sun.
Okay.
So, you guys are known for your citrus fruits. Good to eat them.
This is true.
But eating them, not using as a topical, or a little bit of both?
Rub a little orange on your face?
Well, not necessarily rubbing it, but using a vitamin C cream is great for your skin. And one tip, you can buy vitamin C creams at the drugstore, relatively inexpensive, but make sure that it's not brown. If it's brown, it has oxidized, and it's not going to be as effective.
Ooh. So you mean the shade of the cream that you'd be putting on?
Exactly, the actual color. So vitamin C is very fragile.
Okay.
And if you want to make sure that if you buy a vitamin C cream or a serum, that it's in a package that doesn't allow sunlight through, because that sunlight will oxidize and deactivate it.
That's kind of like what happens to an apple, right? When you cut into it, that's why it turns brown. It's from the oxidation.
It's the same idea, yeah.
Interesting. You also talk about some sort of do-it-yourself creams that people can do at home. I know for the penny pinchers among us, that's good news because a lot of those creams are pretty darn expensive.
Exactly, and so what I do recommend in the book is not everybody needs to go to a department store and spend hundreds of dollars on expensive moisturizers. there's a couple things you can do. Number one, exfoliating your skin, super important to get rid of that upper layer of dead skin cells. And you can do that using some simple recipes that include, let's say, cornmeal or even baking soda. The second thing you can do is to get a retinol-based cream. And this is, if you had to pick one anti-aging cream to reverse the aging of your skin, it is retinol. And you can buy those usually pretty inexpensively at drugstores. I'd rather take an inexpensive retinol cream you buy at the drugstore over a very expensive moisturizer at the department store.
It's interesting because I have gone to specialists. I had damaged my skin years ago, and they try to sell you on things like Obagi. And it does work. It's extremely pricey, but you're saying you could find something that works equally as good, but is definitely more cost effective.
Yeah, now Obagi is a little different because that's a medical grade product.
Correct.
So those are only sold through doctor's offices, and really by definition, they're going to be more potent.
Okay.
So I would put that in a different category as if you go to a department store and spend $200 on a night cream.
Got it.
A lot of those are just fancy moisturizers. You're paying for ingredients that may not even be proven to be anti-aging.
Sure.
In that situation, I would spend $15 on, let's say, a Neutrogena retinol cream over a $200 anti-aging night cream at a department store.
Got it.
Because that retinol is scientifically proven to reverse your aging.
Interesting. And I know I always run it by you, Kimberly, when I'm about to book guests. And
Yes.
I said, this is sort of a more girly type topic. And you said, no, it's not. And the more I thought about it, because as a man, you tend to think, we're not supposed to care about our looks. That's a feminine thing.
Wait a minute. No, especially men on TV, such as yourself, Ethan.
But I'm my background's in radio, so I've never cared what my face looks like. I guess now I have to. But
people are less critical of men who age gracefully, as they say, than women.
With the gray hairs, nobody cares.
Right. And men, they say they become more distinguished when they have certain wrinkles and everything like that, and then women just age.
They just get old.
So, society is not kind to women in the process at all.
But men more and more. You see men coming in for pedicures, manicures. It's not just a female thing.
I wouldn't go that far. But what I was going to say is...
But they do care.
I do notice, though, the older I get, noticing the crow's feet, noticing the lines on my forehead from constantly scowling and things like that. So I retract my statement saying that this was a girly interview. So any tips for guys that might be watching or listening?
Yeah, there's so many things now that men are doing because technology now has allowed us to do these treatments without scars, without visible signs. So tons of men are doing injections like Botox. There's great treatments for thinning hair that use low-light lasers. There's literally a baseball cap that has lasers inside of it that you wear around that actually can help regrow hair that's thinning. There's so many of these types of options that are perfect for men, so the number of men undergoing these non-surgical treatments are continuing to grow, although the men having surgery, it's a very small growth there.
Interesting. Well, I have to say, you mentioned something about avoiding sodas, but adding maybe a cup of red wine.
That's good news for my wife. She'll like to hear that.
Yeah, so sugar is the worst thing for your skin. Okay. And more science is coming to show that sugar is the worst thing both for our health, but also for our aging. So sugary, really sodas are the absolute worst thing on top of that. And there are studies that show that it can actually take years off of your life on your actual genes and your chromosomes. That being said, red wine, 1 glass a day, the resveratrol, powerful antioxidant. 1 glass is enough, though, because any more than that the toxic effects of the alcohol start taking over.
Ooh, good to know. Good to know. I don't really drink, but 1 glass, not bad.
1 glass is good for you. Anything more is excessive.
Got it. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Anthony Yoon, one of the nation's leading plastic surgeons, also a frequent guest on a multitude of television shows, here to discuss his book, The Age Fix. Thank you so much. Where can they find the book?
The book's available in bookstores all around the country and on Amazon. And if they go to my website, dryoon.com, we have special gifts for people who buy it.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks so much for sharing your time with us.
Thank you, Doctor.
So much.
Bye-bye.
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 You're listening to American Medicine Today. Make sure you stay tuned because coming up, you're going to hear what's new in American medicine today.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Glad to be here.
And Jeffrey Wagstaff.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're excited. We have Sir John Hargrave, CEO of Media Shower, the world's premier content marketing company, and author of Mind Hacking, a book which details how to reprogram your mind and change your life. Thanks for being here, John.
Guys, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, obviously, the first thing, the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
How did you become a sir? How does one become a sir, Sir John Hargrave?
Yes, the Sir. So, kind of a funny story. I actually wrote the Queen of England a few years ago. Asked her, I'd like to be knighted.
Wow.
Because I just thought Sir John Hargrave sounded so much classier, don't you?
Of course it does.
Oh, yes.
Right. So she actually wrote me back, and she said, well, you have to do something noble. I was like, well, that's a lot of work. So I went down to my local county courthouse, and I asked how you get your name changed. And they said, well, you pay a small fee, you go before a judge. So that's what I did, and now here I am today, Sir John Hargrave. It's kind of a name hack, if you will.
So you were never actually knighted by the Queen because it was too much work to do something noble, so you just legally changed your name?
But let me tell you the funny thing about this is that, like, once people start calling you Sir John Hargrave, it's on all my books, like, you really do want to become more noble and more honorable. So it has had this strange effect of making me actually truly want to help the world.
Well, I think you have, because mind hacking, I think that's a very noble effort, and it's helping people reprogram the way they think. And why is that so important? Explain what mind hacking is.
Yeah, it is a critical skill in our distracted information age. And it's basically about, like, viewing your mind like a computer. So we use hacking in the original sense of the word. The original hackers were computer programmers who found clever techniques or tricks for reprogramming computers. And we're looking at our mind, at, like, our brain like a computer, and basically saying, hey, we can reprogram it. We can find all those negative thoughts that are holding us back, the thoughts of anxiety and depression and low self-esteem, and we can reprogram them with really positive, constructive thoughts that move our lives in a positive direction. That's what mind hacking is all about.
Well, you know, I always thought about that, and I would always tell people the only one that's holding you back is yourself. You are your own biggest stumbling block.
Mm-hmm. So true. And there's a story in the book called The Reality Distortion Field by the late, great Steve Jobs. And his coworkers explained him as having this this ability to bend reality. And you go into a meeting convinced that you wouldn't be able to meet some deadline, and by the time you were done, Jobs would have you convinced that it was all going to be done. And the idea is that all of us have within us our own reality distortion field. And most of us use this to kind of keep ourselves locked into a set of, like, here's what I can't do, like limitations. But, Jobs was a master mind hacker, and he found this way of expanding what was possible, and having that reality distortion field helped other people also see what was possible, and that's what we're after with mind hacking.
Well, what's interesting, as you mentioned this, it reminds me of when I first got into broadcasting, because I'm naturally an introverted guy. I don't like public speaking. I don't like just crowds and things like that. Right. So I remember the guy that first trained me, our program director, said, you got to get over that. If you're going to get into this, you have to get over it. But he didn't have any tips. So I had to sort of come up with it on my own. And what I did was almost like a Jedi mind trick, where I thought the me that I portray to everyone is actually a mask of me. So I would literally say game face, and I would pretend to put a mask on before I'd go on the air, before I'd go to an event and things like that. After a while, I didn't have to do that anymore. I would just go into that sort of game face mode. And it really helped a lot. It was sort of a Jedi mind hack.
So the natural question, Sir John, how do we hack our minds?
Well, I love that story, and I think that idea that you guys just described is a big part of it. It's identifying what you want first, not what you don't want, but what you want. And in that case, like, you wanted to have that game face, that confidence, that extroverted sort of that presence, and then you basically create what we call mental loops. And it's just like a loop in programming is a little piece of code that you run again and again to make a computer do its work. And that's what you're doing in your mind. And I have a similar story where I used to be really bad with people. And when I would talk with people, I would feel really uncomfortable and kind of self-conscious. Well, I became aware of that negative thought loop, and then I said, what do I want? What I want is to feel good. Like, I want to feel comfortable with people. And so every time I started talking with people and I felt that kind of awkwardness setting in, I would just repeat to myself, I'm good with people. And like you just said, I would pretend. I would literally pretend like I was playing a part in a play.
Yes.
I was playing a character which was the guy who's good with people. Yep. And after a while, doing that again and again, hundreds and thousands of times, I found that I really was pretty good with people. So there's a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy that comes with this mind hacking.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, because I always said that it's like acting, that you're portraying the you that they want to meet. You know what I mean? They don't want to meet the guy that doesn't want to talk. They want to meet the guy who's going to be engaging and friendly and confident and charismatic. So you have to become that part. It's acting. Thank you. I like that.
And the Jedi part of that is that when you first start doing it, it feels very awkward and wrong. Like, it feels like you're telling yourself a lie. And so you've really got to work through that first part where you are basically creating a new sort of mental environment for yourself that does feel very uncomfortable. But the longer you persist, the longer you keep at it, the more comfortable it becomes, until eventually it is you. It becomes you.
I do this and don't even realize it. Ethan will tell you, I'm not a very social person. I don't like to be around people. I'm not very outgoing. I just don't like people, frankly. However,
you and me both.
In our role, I meet people and help people every day. So I kind of put that. I've done what you described without ever even realizing that I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that awareness that you're getting right now from this conversation, this is a big part of it. It's like we go through life just kind of lost in what we call the mind movie. It's very much like when you go in a movie theater, like you get lost in the movie, you forget after a few minutes, if it's a good movie, you forget you're watching a movie. That's the whole point of a movie. Well, our mind is the same way. Our mind is like constantly feeding us this stream of thoughts and beliefs about ourselves and the world and what we can do and what we can't do. And we usually just take it. Like, we just accept it. It's like a really annoying roommate that we listen to without question. And part of all this mind hacking is about, you got to become aware of it first. You got to get on top of it. We call getting into the balcony. We're like getting in the balcony, looking down in your mind, trying to see what the sort of code that's going on, those negative thought loops, and then reprogramming them. So that awareness that you just identified, that's perfect. That's the first step to mind hacking.
Well, I also notice here that you talk about like awareness, like what was I thinking a few minutes ago?
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been in the car sometimes, and all of a sudden we get from point A to B and go, how did we get here? You're on kind of autopilot. Like, what was I thinking? Or I know what I was thinking, but how did my body react to that? And I was doing this other function at the same time. That, and then what you call squirrel. And you get totally sidetracked by things like your phone, texting.
Somebody jingling keys.
Kids, anything. Squirrel.
The book has lots of what we call mind games, which are exercises that you can actually play to develop these habits of awareness and reprogramming your mind. And the first one in the book is just called "What Was My Mind Just Thinking?" And anybody listening can play this today. But the goal is you just ask yourself as many times as possible today, what was my mind just thinking? And you try to catch your mind in the habit or in the process of thinking. So you might be like doing the dishes and you're thinking about some conversation that you had, and you just say, conversation, and then you move on. But you give yourself a point. We call them awareness points. You score a point for yourself every time you remember to check in. It sounds really easy, and it is, for about an hour. And then you forget, because then you get lost back in the mind. You get lost in that mind movie again. And so the goal is to play it for 24 hours without forgetting. And if you can do it for 24 hours and then write down your score, you can do that again and again and start to develop that habit of awareness of catching your mind in the process of it. That's how we learn to master it.
It sounds exhausting. What's the whole point of all of it?
It's not. It's fun. It's fun. Like, it really is so much fun to start to figure out how your mind works and start to realize that, like, you can master it. Like, you have the power to actually control what goes on in your mind, as opposed to having your mind control you, which is the state that most of us normally walk around in. And when you realize that, like, it's an unlimited vista in front of you. You can, like, create anything in your mind that you want to. That's where the really creative, fun part of mind hacking comes in.
John, take that step one linear further. Is there ways to use mind hacking to do behavioral modification, whether it comes to dieting or
kicking bad habits, smoking,
exercise, those things? Can you use it to modify your behavior?
Yeah, absolutely. So the book starts out with a story. Excuse me, I won't give away the whole story, but I was actually visited by the Secret Service, and I realized during that horrible experience, low point of my life, that my own bad habits. I was heavily drinking and using drugs, and I realized that was what led to that point. Because when the Secret Service shows up on your doorstep, let's just say, probably a sign that something has gone wrong in your life.
Yeah.
Right? Probably not a good sign. So I realized, like, I got to make a change. I threw away all my drugs and alcohol that night in the dumpster behind the supermarket.
You made some bum really happy.
Yeah. And it made me realize, like, doing that was the most difficult thing I'd ever done.
Right.
But I had to develop these mind hacks, these techniques, to stay sober in the weeks and the months to come. So I've been sober almost 9 years now, and it's because of these mind hacks, these sort of reprogramming those habitual thoughts, which have for me led to the behavioral modification of staying sober. So yeah, you can use it for a wide variety of habit modification.
Right. I'm getting the rap sign, but I like this idea of the 5 whys. Continue to ask yourself why, so you can drill down and get to the root of your problem or problem thinking, so that you can actually get to a solution. I love that idea.
Yeah. Why? Why do you love that idea?
This sounds like a mental game here. I think people are going to have to get the book to read about the whys.
And where can you get your book?
Well, you can get the book at great bookstores anywhere or on Amazon.com, and you can also visit our website at mindhacky.ng. It's like mind hacking, but with the .ng, where we've got a whole 21-day program you can use to teach yourself these fun mental games and master your own mind.
Well, we certainly will. Sir John Hargrave, CEO of Media Shower, the world's premier content marketing company and author of Mind Hacking, a book that details how to reprogram your mind and change your life. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, Kimberly. Thanks, Ethan. Thanks, Jeffrey.
Have a good one.
Great guest.
And he remembered all of our names.
That was a mind hack,
Yes.
too, probably, that I need to do because I'm always forgetting people's names. But anyway.
You're listening to American Medicine Today. Stay tuned. We'll have more after the break.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Glad to be here.
Our senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff.
That's a nice way of calling me old, but thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And across from me is world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonati of the esteemed Bonati Spine Institute, with Sony written across his forehead.
Duck, you're kind of rocking your headphones a little different today.
I know.
I like that.
Yeah.
They are horns.
All right.
Let's look at what's new in medicine today, featuring Alfred Bonati, MD.
Okay, tell us, sir, what is the real culprit of higher drug prices?
Oh, that's very simple. Obamacare. No, Obamacare did something very distressful to medicine. Got all the sick people in one basket and decided that everybody is going to pay the same, and everybody's going to have wonderful health care, and everybody's going to have a good behavior with the neighbor. Well, what happened is some people have bad illnesses that they need to be treated different, and it's going to cost more.
Right.
And some other people has no illnesses at all, and why they are going to be paying for the people who has a lot of illnesses.
Right.
So when you go and you decide that you are going to do that, well, some people is going to say, I'm not going to accept that plan, and they don't buy the plan, and then Obamacare doesn't work.
But Doc, in the fairy tale of Obamacare, everyone lives happily ever after.
Yeah, exactly. But they're flying like they're dying like fleas all over, because they don't have number one, they don't have good care. Number two, they don't have good diagnosis. Number three, they don't have good doctors. Number four, they don't have good insurance that they are going to receive them. If you have a Medicaid, you go to a doctor, and the doctor is going to say, yes, I'll see you in 20 years from now. Then et cetera, et cetera. So the problem is, yes.
Can I just interject? Because, you know, when I saw we were going to be discussing this topic, there was something that I found on Facebook, you know, not like Facebook is a great
It's the
source
truth,
always.
the
but,
truth meter.
I read it on the internet.
The truth meter.
It's got to be true.
We had Cadaver Labs on, and they made a post, and it was talking about the EpiPen makers and the amount of money that they gave themselves in raises over a 5-year span. And it said from Cadaver Labs, with a $300 million investment, they could create 15,000 permanent jobs, open facilities across the globe, and give one of what they make to every single public high school in America. And instead, that amount over 5 years was paid to 5 EpiPen managers. $300 million. I mean, it sounds to me like that might be a culprit of higher drug prices.
No, I don't agree with that.
Raises?
No, I don't agree with that.
You don't?
No,
Why?
Because business is business.
That's amazing.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Business is business. When you have a business and the business is extremely successful and the managers are individuals that they are smart enough to create that business, to create better business, I don't care how much they're being paid.
Wait.
But let me finish.
Okay. Because there's a point I'm trying to make.
I understand. But the problem is you are going to try to put the guilty situation of a cost of drugs in somebody who's making a lot of money. I don't think so. I don't think so.
But that isn't the point I was making. The point I was making is they're sticking it to the people that need it. And there is such a thing as like price gouging, I think, in pharmaceuticals.
I understand.
That's the point I'm making. It has nothing to do. I don't begrudge people if they do a good job to pay themselves well. But
I understand what you're saying. I still, the industry has the right to do that. If they produce something that the people is going to use it, and the situation that is unique and is good, well, they need to be paid whatever they want to be paid.
Well, that's why capitalism has succeeded.
I agree with that. Now, what I don't agree is with this, the stupidity to go and say, we're going to put everybody and give health care to everybody.
Right.
And then don't go and say, look, there are people who has cancer. And the medication for cancer is going to cost 20 million times more than the medication for a headache.
Right.
All right? Or an aspirin. But they put the whole thing together. And when you do that, then you go and you complain because the medicine is so expensive. When you go and you have an Obama care type of insurance, and you go and buy medication with that,
one size fits all.
Then one size fits all. So what happened is then you go and you try to pay, and you go, oh my God, I just bought something that is so cheap before and so expensive now.
Right.
And you know what happened? It's because they put all the cost of all the drugs in one. Right. They divide it for everybody. And that situation creates now a conflict, because when you have an insurance from a private enterprise, like we have in our business, okay? And then you go to the pharmacy, you present your card from the insurance that is your company, and then you go and you pay a decent price. Now, when you go and you have Obamacare, costs you 20 times more the same medicine. Okay. And then you go, why?
Because you're paying for everybody else.
Because you are paying for everybody else.
Well, there are just some people, it doesn't matter what you try to say or do with them, they don't care about what they do to their body. So why is it we don't let those people fend for themselves that have gotten themselves in a situation where they don't take care of their health? They're in a pool amongst themselves, and let them pay their own increased premiums. And those that are health conscious try to make the right choices. They can get care that's adequate and at a price they can afford.
Kimberly, this is what we had before Obama came.
What? There was something other than Obama?
But exactly. Obama is the destruction of the country.
Yes.
Now, what happened is going to take us 20 years to fix this mess. Now, one thing that happens is before you had an insurance and you go to a doctor and the doctor treats you well, and you pay your bills, and you have no problems with your insurance. You go to the pharmacy, you buy your medication, everything was okay.
Right.
Everything was on a track of a normal behavior in business. This guy took this train out of the system and is trying to make it run without rails. So what happened is the whole thing is
a runaway
stuck.
train.
Yes. And now
that's a look.
Sorry, Doc. Go ahead, finish your thought.
And now you have one problem, and the problem is every one of us is going to be taxed, and we're going to be paying for bad medicine, bad drugs, and bad everything because we have a problem that needs to be changed. And to change that one, you need to get this guy out the White House.
And that's a look at what's new in medicine today with Alfred Bonati, MD.
Put on the trigger there, Ethan.
I know.
Johnny Hair Trigger over here.
Well, sometimes you just have to. That's a topic that he could talk about forever and a day, and unfortunately, we have a strict time
schedule.
Yes.
Yep.
So on that note, thanks for joining us on American Medicine Today. If you or someone you know suffering with neck, back, sciatic pain, reach out to Bonati at Bonati.com or 855-267-0483. Tweet at Dr. Bonati using hashtag American Medicine Today or hashtag AMT. That about wraps things up. Our affiliates, make sure you stay tuned because we have more special news just for you.
Thanks for listening.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.